Hello everyone, welcome back to my blog on Can Your Apps Leak Your Data? But before anything else, I would like to greet everyone happy holidays to you all. Well, in today's episode, let me answer the question, what happens to stolen data? So if you have seen the fourth episode, previous episode was all about credential harvesting. Is that one way of a hacker to steal information from the user? It's either via inventing or developing malicious app that someone can accidentally install on their device, or it can be intentional leakage of the user's account for those people who are in charge of compiling those data online. Could be the IT support particular compromised service or company. Okay, but before we go to that, I have prepared that on a separate, in the form of separate file as an extension, a separate video that talks about all the reports, all the news about data aggregation and credential harvesting, with the examples of the legit news coming from different news channels and news sites. But will not overwhelm you with details for now. In today's episode, we will be talking about all the important elements on, so everything that you have heard from episode 1 to episode 4 would now make sense. So once hackers get our stolen data, what happens to those data? Well, you might imagine hackers immediately emptying bank account. Well, to tell you honestly, in reality, although there's that too, emptying bank accounts, if they only wanted to get your finances or funds from your account, from your card details or your e-wallet accounts. But it's the first stop is a lot quieter, but far more dangerous. There is what we call data aggregation. When we say data aggregations, hackers don't just steal one piece of information from the user. They collect, they gather these data, compile it, organize it, and bundle these data coming from various platforms. When I say coming from various platforms, it can be your full name from an online shopping app, your phone number from a game app, for instance, your email address coming from an old breach of your social media account, your ID photo from an online loan app or OLA. So it could come from various platforms or apps that got compromised, or it can be from social media or websites that they were able to intercept. Okay, so what happens to this data then? Where does this go? Well, in the real world, there is what we call smuggled goods that are being sold on the black market, right? So how they get in the way? How is that even possible that these smuggled goods can get into our country and away from the eyes of regulators and customs? It could be the smugglers ship package in the form of different containers. They mix illegal items to mix items in the form of different cargoes, mislabeling cargo. Of course, they will not label the cargo as it is. They will put a different item names on it, so it appears not obvious, and it can bypass the regulators inspection. Or they also don't operate in the normal business hours. They operate on the nighttime, and they don't get into each country on the normal routes. So they could be transporting smuggled goods in small ports, so it won't be obvious. Well, sa digital market naman, it works the same way. We have what we call the digital black market online, that works almost the same way, only then it's digital. We have the dark web. The dark web is a hidden part of the internet that sells data. So hindi siya physical items, unlike smuggled goods na ginabaligya sa physical black market. While sa online world, wala kita physical items. What are being smuggled from users are data that are being stolen, data that contains phone numbers, usernames and logins, email address, uh, ID photos, card details, anything. Unlike the physical world, physical smuggled items runs out. Pero sa online, these smuggled data or stolen data can be sold online on the dark web endlessly. It never runs out. And it don't transmit data on a normal traffic, although it transmits data in the normal internet traffic, but it's either via VPN, so it comes from multiple countries or location. That is made possible if you are using virtual private network, right? Or they don't use the normal internet route. They use networks such as the Onion router. I think I have shared that in the past. And as well as they don't operate in normal hours, just like how smuggled goods can get into the Philippines. They are not being shipped on the normal business hours. They are being shipped at night on small ports. So digital world, it does the same thing. It operates on different hours, uh, away from internet authorities. So hindi siya makitaan and it's not obvious. And it's not in the form of containers nor boxes. It's in the form of encrypted files. So just like customs and regulators cannot inspect physical containers for smuggled goods, same way in the digital world, internet authorities cannot inspect every encrypted files, and it never ran out. So that means your data are being bundled and repackaged. And one of the things that you also should know, ang mga bagong balita about the leakage of a certain user's account from a certain app or bank site, these are not new leaks. These were from previous years leakage na nadiskubrihan lang late lang. So it could have been happening a couple of months or years already, late lang na discoveryhan, because some of this leakage came from previous or old breaches that were repacked, renamed, and resold. So that means there could be some folders that contains 10,000 phone numbers, for instance. A folder in the dark web that contains finance users in Asian countries. It could be the logins of gamers online that are labeled as Asian gamers, their phone numbers. Or it can be a collection of ID photos, stolen ID photos from users online, either from an app that got compromised or na intercept some hacker labeled as uh, government workers, so something like that. So that's why those previous or old breaches, let's say for instance you had an account, a social media account that got compromised in the past. Your social media account has your username, of course, aside from your photos and posts on it or content on that particular social media account of yours. It contains your phone number and your email address. Well, these data got compromised already. So when you tried your best to recover your account, you successfully did. You changed your phone number, you updated your email address on it, you restore back your username, and update whatever needs to be updated back to normal. But one of the things that you should know, that old breaches would not could be circulating online still if hackers or if your data were sent to the attacker's servers and were then repacked into one encrypted file and sold on the dark web. It's possible that even if you have updated or changed your phone number or your email address a couple of years back, it could still be circulating online, updated with your newest informations. That's why sometimes when scams get into our text messages, it knows our phone number, our full name, our old email address, because these data were hacked before or got compromised before, that were just renamed, repacked, and resold on the dark web. Well, on the dark web, payments are made using cryptocurrency. Sellers and buyers never meet. Data can be copied endlessly, just like what I mentioned a while ago. That hackers can sell data over and over again. Unlike the smuggled goods or stolen items or smuggled goods in the physical market or digital market runs out, but data never runs out. The dark web is the black market of the internet where data that got stolen from us is being smuggled, bundled, and sold invisible to digital customs. But it doesn't mean, or this doesn't mean that the dark web is unstoppable. It means protection starts from us before the data is stolen on our phones, in our apps, and in our habits. If you want to know how to safeguard your data that you are sharing online via various platforms, then you need to stay tuned and watch for the sixth episode, which is all about our defense moves. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.